Some new rumors are reporting that Apple is still hard at work on the next generation of Apple AirPods. They may have more volume control, they may have a matte finish like the Apple Pencil, but I don't really care about that because we have AirPods and the design is fine, it's good enough. I think the biggest problem with them is battery degradation because for the most part you have AirPods, you like them, and then time goes by. One gets quieter than the other, probably because you use one for a microphone more than the other, so it uses more power quicker. The battery cycles get out of sync, and anyway, I don't really care about AirPods. I don't really want to talk about AirPods today. I want to talk about Apple's version of ProPods. That's my code name for them, which is essentially Apple making their own over-ear headphones. And like many other Apple enthusiasts out there, I'm a fan of what Apple's doing in terms of audio. Now, the HomePod is a controversial product, but what most people can agree on is they get sound quality pretty dang good. AirPods are good enough for most general consumers, but audio professionals out there don't really have a huge liking towards most Bluetooth audio because Bluetooth is known for having a little bit more latency and not being able to support as high a bit rate as you can get with a wired connection, and that's where I think ProPods would absolutely shine, and why I think ProPods need to, as the name suggests, cater themselves towards the pro market. So let me tell you what I mean by that. So given the design of over-ear headphones is a lot larger than what you have with AirPods, you know, the purpose of them is to be light and tiny so that when you put them in, you can barely tell they're there when you're dancing or you're moving around. You don't even notice they're there. They just kind of work seamlessly. And for the sake of convenience and simplicity, and in the grand scheme of premium headphones price, AirPods, I think, are a great entry point. But if Apple wants to experiment with the over-ear headphone market, they're going in with a lot of competition that is almost certainly going to be doing things differently than they are. Of course, we have Bose, we have Sony, we have now Microsoft with the Surface headphones, all of them that support Bluetooth audio and also the headphone jack supported audio for those people who want that. But something tells me Apple's going to do things a little bit differently. Knowing how they entered the smart speaker market, I imagine the premium over-ear headphone market would also be somewhat different. I'd be quite surprised if Apple decided that the ProPods deserved their own headphone jack port, given the lengths Apple's gone to make sure that there's no headphone jack on any iOS device. So if they are working on ProPods, I think the better angle Apple could come at is delivering a premium audio experience while also delivering it all wirelessly. Given you have a lot more size to work with headphones that go over the ears, and you're not trying to pack low power, efficient cords into tiny earbuds that fit in your ears, you have a lot more technology and space you can stuff in there. For instance, battery life, I'm sure, can be a lot better than what you get with AirPods. And two, I think wireless data transfer chips could be very, very much improved when it comes to ProPods. They could start sporting, instead of the W1 chip back from 2016, that's how old that chip is, that we're still using in AirPods. Wireless headphones that have become a meme now, you know, smell broken here. Yep, they're 3 years old now. Perhaps in 2019, given the report is these ProPods are coming out in the second half, they could have something more like the W3 chip we see in the Apple Watch, which is known for delivering vast amount of data and information from your phone to your watch in a very power efficient and quick manner. I think if we started implementing these chips into over-ear headphones and use them designated just for audio, not to mention we're seeing more MacBooks support Bluetooth 5.0 technology, which would allow for better wireless data transfer, I think the ProPods could advertise themselves as something that give you a really, really rich, high-quality audio experience, but they're doing it through the power of modern wireless technology transfer to try to put an end to this stigma of Bluetooth audio being laggy and being delayed and not being as high as bit rate as you can get with standard headphone jack cables. Now, I know whether or not you use Bluetooth 5.0 technology or you use the W3 chip, it'll probably never rival as good as you can get with a wired connection, but Apple trying to close that gap as much as possible, I think, is where the ProPods should come in. Advertising them to audio professionals or to video editors out there and say, look at how good of latency we can get with wireless headphones, partnering with newer MacBooks and newer Macintoshes that support Bluetooth 5.0, the insane amount of audio data transfer you could communicate between computer and headphones could be really, really high. Now, on top of that, I'm sure with ProPods, Apple has a whole assortment of goodies they want to implement, things like ease of pairing, of course, with the W3 chip. That would be very easy. Of course, they likely want to do noise canceling of some sort that works really, really well, so that if you're on a plane or a busy place, you can throw on ProPods and cancel out all that background audio. I'm sure they want that Hello Siri support so that you can directly speak to Siri when using these ProPods. As we've already seen with iOS leaks, we know that Apple wants to move Siri controls onto their headphones. And then the big dilemma when it comes to the ProPods is, what do they charge with? Do you charge it with Lightning because that's what your iPhone charges with? Or do you charge it with USB-C because you're marketing it towards professionals who may be using iPad Pros or MacBook Pros and they already have USB-C cables around? It's kind of a messy place right there, but honestly, what I hope they go for is some type of inductive method. I'm not exactly sure what they could do, but maybe if the ProPods shipped with some sort of stand that allowed them to charge when you rested them on the stand, and there's plenty of wireless headphones out there that charge when docked in a certain location. If the Apple could come up with something simple and intuitive that would look good on your desk, I think that the ProPods could end up being a real winner for people in the pro industry, as well as people who don't mind spending extra money on noise-canceling headphones and deem something that is a tad more professional and has a bit more audio quality than just standard AirPods do. I think Apple wants to elaborate on the audio industry, in particularly the wireless field, and show people that it can be good, and it can be almost as good as a wired connection, so that audio professionals, when they switch to wireless, don't feel like they're missing out on too much. They don't feel like these AirPods are quite literally lagging behind the competition, and the delay is too drastic. So ProPods entering the market and showcasing, okay, we can transfer more data now than ever, we have less latency than ever, and then maybe Apple can work their way onto getting the technology that's implemented with ProPods into devices more like AirPods, so that one day the difference between wired headphones and wireless headphones is almost indistinguishable. But then again, it wouldn't be an Apple product if there wasn't some big controversy to go around with it. So I imagine when ProPods come out, or if they come out at this point, they'll probably have some missing feature or lack of control that they don't give to the user that will upset everyone on YouTube, and I'm full expecting that to happen, whether it be there's no headphone jack, or the only way to connect to the ProPods is via AirPlay. You have to do it the same way you play audio to a HomePod, and that's gonna kill a huge chunk of the market. But I can only hope that since Apple allows regular AirPods to pair with Android phones via Bluetooth, hopefully they'll do the same thing with ProPods. I'm not really sure which category of audio they're gonna bunch ProPods with. Is it more similar to the HomePod, or is it more similar to AirPods? I'm not sure, but regardless, let me know what you guys are thinking, and what would you like to see done with Apple's ProPods in 2019? All that good stuff, let me know about it down in the comments below. This is your Apple Sheep here. I'll see you in the next one.